7 Deadliest Spaceflight related incidents through the years. Number 7. Nadelin catastrophe. Year 1960. Also known as the Nadelin disaster, was a tragic incident that occurred on October 24, 1960, during the Soviet Union's space program. It was one of the deadliest disasters in the history of space exploration. At the time, the Soviet Union was developing the R-16 Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, ICBM, as part of its military program. The R-16 was a powerful liquid-fueled missile capable of delivering a nuclear warhead to distant targets. On that fateful day, preparations were underway for a test launch of the R-16 missile at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in present-day Kazakhstan. The missile was fueled and fully loaded with a simulated warhead, and the launch countdown was in progress. A series of human errors and technical malfunctions led to the ignition of the rocket's second stage engine while the missile was still on the ground. The premature firing caused an enormous explosion and a massive fireball that engulfed the launch pad and the surrounding area. Tragically, the explosion claimed the lives of over 100 military personnel, including engineers, technicians, and support staff who were in the vicinity of the launch pad. The exact number of casualties remains uncertain due to the secrecy surrounding the Soviet space program at the time. Number 6. Alcantara VLS accident. Year 2003. It refers to a tragic incident that occurred on August 22, 2003, at the Alcantara Launch Center in Brazil. It is a Brazilian satellite launch vehicle developed by the Brazilian Space Agency, AEB, for launching satellites into space. During preparations for the launch of the VLS-1V03 vehicle, a series of errors and malfunctions led to an explosion on the launch pad. The explosion resulted in the loss of the VLS-1 vehicle and the destruction of the satellite payload, as well as the deaths of 21 engineers and technicians who were working on the launch pad at the time. Number 5. Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. Year 1986. The incident occurred on January 28, 1986, when the Space Shuttle Challenger broke apart shortly after launch, resulting in the deaths of all 7 crew members. The Challenger was a space shuttle orbiter built by NASA, part of the Space Shuttle program designed for reusable spaceflight. Approximately 73 seconds after liftoff, disaster struck. The failure of an O-ring seal on one of the solid rocket boosters allowed hot gases to escape, leading to the destruction of the external fuel tank and the breakup of the orbiter. The crew cabin, containing the astronauts, detached from the rest of the vehicle and fell into the Atlantic Ocean. The Challenger disaster had a significant impact on the space program and led to an immediate suspension of the Space Shuttle program for several months. Number 4. Space Shuttle Columbia disaster. Year 2003. The incident occurred on February 1, 2003, when the Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrated during re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere, resulting in the deaths of all 7 crew members on board. During the launch, a piece of foam insulation broke off from the external fuel tank and struck the leading edge of Columbia's left wing. The impact damaged the shuttle's heat protection system, specifically the reinforced carbon-carbon panels that shielded the vehicle during re-entry. Upon re-entry, the damaged wing allowed superheated atmospheric gases to enter the shuttle's structure, leading to the breakup of the orbiter over Texas. The crew module disintegrated and scattered debris across a wide area. Number 3. IntelSAT 708 space incident. Year 1996. It refers to a satellite launch failure that occurred on February 14, 1996. The satellite was launched on a Chinese Long March 3B rocket from the Xichang Satellite Launch Center in Sichuan Province, China. However, shortly after liftoff, the rocket veered off course and deviated from its intended flight path. Approximately 22 seconds after launch, the Long March 3B rocket and its payload, the IntelSAT 708 satellite, impacted the nearby village of Xianghe, resulting in a massive explosion. The explosion caused extensive damage to buildings and ignited fires in the area. Tragically, the incident led to the deaths of at least 6 villagers and caused injuries to many others. Number 2. The Apollo 1 disaster. Year 1967. It is also known as the Apollo 204 fire, was a tragic incident that occurred on January 27, 1967. During a pre-launch test for the Apollo 1 mission, it resulted in the deaths of all 3 crew members, Virgil Gus Grissom, Edward H. White II, and Roger B. Chaffee. During a routine pre-launch test on the launch pad at Cape Canaveral, Florida, a fire broke out in the command module of the spacecraft. The exact cause of the fire was attributed to an electrical spark that ignited the pure oxygen atmosphere inside the cabin. which rapidly spread and engulfed the spacecraft. Number 1. Soyuz 11. Year, 1971. It was a tragic incident that occurred on June 30, 1971 during the Soviet Union's space program. It resulted in the deaths of all 3 crew members on board Soyuz 11, making it the first and only crewed space mission that ended in fatalities during the mission. After successfully docking with the space station and spending nearly 3 weeks on board conducting experiments and carrying out tasks, the crew prepared to return to Earth. However, during the re-entry process, a valve on the spacecraft's descent module failed to properly seal, causing a loss of cabin pressure. As a result of the cabin depressurization, the crew members were exposed to the vacuum of space and suffered fatal injuries. It is believed that the crew died within seconds of the capsule's re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. The descent module containing the deceased crew members landed safely in Kazakhstan, and recovery teams found the crew inside the spacecraft. The investigation into the accident revealed that a cabin vent valve, which should have been closed before re-entry, had inadvertently opened, leading to the catastrophic loss of pressure. The incident led to a re-evaluation of safety protocols and a renewed emphasis on crew safety. Lessons learned from the Soyuz 11 accident contributed to the development of safer spacecraft and improved training and procedures for subsequent crewed missions.